Welcome to the Fast Track Teacher Prep Program for Blended Instruction. This tutorial is going to walk you through some basic navigating tips in the Schoology platform where you will be accessing the program. So the first thing, once you're all logged into Schoology, you are going to come to your landing page, and your landing page is set to the updates page. So this is where you're going to find some pertinent information regarding your course. Your facilitator may be posting announcements daily, reminders, when webinars are, and so forth. You also might get some information about college registration if there's any updates with that. Regardless, you should always go through your updates when you first get into Schoology. If there's anything you wanted to comment on, let's say you read an update and you have a question you need for clarification, go ahead and click on comment, and then you could type the comment in the box and hit post. And your facilitator will be checking that daily so that she will know, if you have a specific question, she'll be able to respond to you right away. So, other than the updates page, let's go ahead and get into the actual content of the course. We'll click on Materials at the top in your bar here, navigation bar, and then here you'll see the folder. Click here to begin the program. So once you click on that, you're going to see two main folders. This second folder has the program resources, so how to contact your facilitator in terms of her direct email and her phone number, syllabus, pacing guide, and so forth. And then, of course, if you're interested in receiving 2 college credits from UNC, that information is included in this section as well. If you'd like to email your facilitator through Schoology instead of through her ILC email, which is located in this section, you would go up here and click on this little mail icon, this envelope icon, and you'd be able to send her a direct email through that. The top folder here is the content of the program. So this is where everything is going to be housed for you for your just-in-time learning. So let's go ahead and click on that. And then on this page, you're going to see the 4 competencies that are broken into individual folders: Introduction to Blended Instruction, Best Practices in Blended Instruction, Creating Digital Content, and then the optional 4th, Introduction to Open Educational Resources. For anyone who is requesting access to 1 or 2 student course templates from our digital content warehouse, we have over 80 elementary and secondary student courses available. You'll be completing this 4th competency, and in order to gain access to that content. What is going to be happening if you are completing that 4th competency is when you finish the 3rd competency, creating digital content, your facilitator will send you a survey link that will ask for your course selections, and then you'll be hearing from our DCW manager, Lene Zajac-Beck, who then will share that course information with you. All right, so let's backtrack a little bit. That's if you are completing this 4th competency in order to gain access to those digital courses. But let's start with the first one, and we're going to click on this one. You'll notice the focus for this is implementing a blended model, and then you'll be learning about the different types of blended models that are listed here. So when you click on this in the folder, you're going to see a video that essentially goes through the competency overview. It's a quick video. To get back to the folder, you're going to use your breadcrumbs. So let's look at the top here, and notice these are your breadcrumbs. You could click to go back as far as the very landing page with the updates, which would be this first click, but we just want to go back to the folder because we're done viewing the video. So you're going to go ahead and click the folder, and you're back in the folder. The next important thing to note is where the recorded webinar will be housed. So when you click on this link, you'll see the webinar here. As you know, obviously nothing is in this particular section because this is a blank course, but this is where you'll find the recorded webinar. Now, the webinars are recorded once a week. So if you finish one competency, you want to jump into the second one, the only thing that's keeping you on a pace, a recommended pace, is that live webinar. And once that webinar is recorded and put into the competency, you can go right into that competency and start working. So obviously it's just-in-time learning, so you don't have to attend those webinars live, but it is recommended because it's providing direct instruction for the content in each competency. It is recommended that you view that before you begin working it so that you understand the content, you receive some direct instruction. You could also follow up with your facilitator for additional instructional support if you have any questions regarding that content. So let's go back. We're going to use our breadcrumb and go back to the folder again. Now for this competency, I notice there are 3 folders within this competency. You are not completing work in each of these folders. For this competency, Introduction to Blended Instruction, you have to choose the model, the blended model that is appropriate for your learning environment. So each of you is going to have a different learning environment next year. And so what you want to do is prepare yourself for that environment. So once you have that webinar, that direct instruction, you will gain enough knowledge to know what type of model you're going to be implementing. If you're not sure, I'll show you how to figure that out. So let's say if you're not really sure which model you're going to implement, you're going to click on these folders, these individual folders. So let's start with the Flex, a la carte, Enrich Virtual. All right, so each of these folders is set up the same way. So navigation is going to look the very same in each of those. So you're going to first see a program facts sheet, and there are going to be a lot of questions on here that you may have regarding the program. So I encourage you to look at this facts page, check these questions out, and then again, if you don't see something on the facts page, you would go back to the help desk. And if you're not sure how you got to the help desk, use your breadcrumbs here to get to that help desk. So we would just click this, for instance, the second, which brings us back to our content in our resources, and then click the content folder, and there's the help desk. Okay, so let's get back into the Flex a la carte. The next thing you're going to see are the details for this particular competency. So you'll click on the details and then click the link within that section, and then here are the competency details. So it's going to provide a description as well as some submission requirements, and then how you will be graded for all of the ADDIE components. There are 4: analyze, design, and develop, implement, and then the last is evaluate. So 2 things to note about the competency details, especially if you are taking this course during the summer. For these, all of them except for implement and evaluate are standard language. But when we get to implement and evaluate, you do not have access to your students. So what you're creating is a simulated lesson variation. So you're going to design your lesson that you're going to implement live in the fall, but for the program, the summer program, that implementation is going to be a simulated implementation. And you're going to run through a section of it, kind of, get a feel for modifications you might need or challenges that might come up, and how will you address those? How will you tweak it before you actually deliver this live to your students? So just note that the language will reflect that in the competencies since you're taking this over the summer. Another thing to note is customization. So, because we recognize that we are going to have leaders, administrators, instructional technology leaders in these courses, and so forth, we understand that the way the competencies are written, it may not apply directly to your position. So, we welcome you. We encourage you to work with your facilitator and customize your ADDIE requirements based on your position so that the work that you're producing is going to be purposeful and relevant and applicable to your position. So work with your facilitator. They are prepared to customize any part of these competencies based on your needs. Okay, so let's go ahead and get out of that. And we want to get back to our folder. So we're going to click the folder at the top here. All right, the next thing are the resources. These resources are the just-in-time resources that you're going to need for each of the competencies. And each of them will have videos as well as links to reading material. So your first point of contact is your facilitator delivering a live webinar. So she is providing direct instruction on the content. She's using that time with you to teach the content. And you can access that recording as many times as you need for your just-in-time learning. And you could also reach out to your facilitator. I encourage you to reach out for help, for strategies, for tips, for resources. Your facilitators are K-12 experienced blended instructors. So they are the experts delivering content, and they will be able to work with you one-on-one for any additional instructional support that you need. All right, so keep in mind that yes, you've got all of these resources at your fingertips, but they also are your facilitator. They're your teacher. So each of the resources is broken down for you, and it's the same in each competency. Each competency also includes a lesson plan template. You do not have to use this template, but it is a guide for lesson preparation so that you can design the best lessons that you're going to be implementing next year. This is a view-only template, so you will have to make your own copy of that template by clicking File and then Make a Copy once you're in the template, and then you'll be able to edit that template, customize it, duplicate it as many times as you want as you plan for blended instruction in your own classroom. All right, so we want to get out of the resources. So again, we click our folder to take us back. You could also use your buttons, Previous and Next, which will also take you back and forward through the content. So now that you know where your resources are located, you're ready to start analyzing. So basically, the competency details that we just went over are broken down into assignments. And the rubrics are built right into the assignments. So again, you don't have to go outside to see how you'll be graded for the ADDIE categories. It's all housed in here. And then once you are ready to submit, this is the administrative view, but you will have a submission button that you'll be able to click on, and then you'll be able to add your link or attach your document. Okay, so we're going to get out of here. And you'll see that in each of these assignment categories, and they're all set up the same way. We have a licensing agreement, so if you submit anything and you are willing to share your amazing work with other educators, that's what this competency licensing agreement is for, that you're giving us permission to do that. So let's go ahead and get out of our Flex, and we're going to get back into the basic Introduction to Blended Instruction folder where the different models are housed. And so you'll see a flipped in a station rotation folder as well. And those are set up the exact same way as the Flex. But remember, for this competency, you're only choosing one in which you'll do your work. So if you're not sure, take a deeper dive into the blended models by going through the resources in these folders. and by reaching out to your facilitator for additional instructional support as needed so that you can select the best blended environment you're going to be implementing. If you're going to be implementing more than one blended model in your environment, your learning environment, then still feel free to just choose one in which you develop a lesson. Okay, so now we want to get out of the Introduction to Blended Instruction folder. We want to get back to where the other folders are located. So we're going to go into this content breadcrumb right here. And that takes us back to the page where we have all of our different competencies. And so I'm just going to click another one so you can see what what it looks like, because again, you're not going to have choices in this folder. So this is what it will look like for you. You'll see your facts page. You're going to see the video that introduces the competency. And I'm just going to click next here to go to the next item. You're going to have the recorded webinar. You're going to have the competency details. You're going to have all of your resources, and then you're going to start getting into your assignments. Okay, so now I want to get out of here. I'm going to go back to my folder, and that's what we just navigated through by using our next button. And you can see this folder and all the other folders look just like this one. So the only folder that looks different is that first one because you're selecting the blended model. So we're going to get out and go back to the main page. So I'm going to click Fast Track, Prep Program Content. That takes us back where our help desk is, takes us back to all of the competency folders. And then at the bottom, there's a Fast Track Program Feedback Survey. Obviously, we encourage you to complete that. It informs our instructional course design and delivery. So please make sure you do that. And one last reminder that those that are on the 4 competency pathway, when you finish the third one, then your facilitator will email a survey link to you to collect your course choices from the DCW. So you'll have those student courses before you begin the 4th competency, because the 4th competency is going to teach you how to customize, personalize, remix all of those resources that you learn about in addition to your digital content warehouse student course template in order to produce the best course that you'll be delivering in the fall for your students. All right, so one other thing, I'm going to jump into a student view here. When you click on grades, this is what you will see, what will pop up for your grades. So you'll be able to see all of the different assignments, and it looks like a lot, but remember, it's because all of that first competency has all of those models in here. So obviously some of these are not going to apply to you based on the model that you choose. And then you'll see your grades right here. And if there are any comments your teachers, your facilitator is making, you'll have access to those comments as well. Okay, so I'm going to get back into the main view here. And so that is how you will be navigating through the content for this program. Again, remember, customize your ADDIE requirements. If you are not an educator in a classroom, be sure to reach out to your facilitator for any additional instructional support that you need or any questions that you have regarding navigating the program or the program content itself.